Welcome, everybody, yet another episode of the Wrestling vs. the World podcast. If you don't join today, sweet. If not, what the hell ever. So, this may seem a bit random for the topic, but I wanted to cover the June 20th, 2005 episode of Raw for two reasons. Number one, even though we're a couple days off, it'll be the 20-year anniversary of this episode. And two, because this was the night where I first became a WWE fan, because this is the episode of Raw that I stumbled across when I was a bored 13-year-old and finding it on Spike TV. So, the show is only 6 days away from Vengeance 2005, coming from Phoenix, Arizona. If this show was happening a month in the future, everybody would be melting because we know how the temperatures can be in Arizona during the month of July. So, a big match is announced right off the bat that we're getting Kurt Angle versus Batista on this show. To my knowledge, I think that's the only singles match they've ever had on television. And the draft lottery also continues tonight, so we'll see who's coming over from SmackDown. They even show Spike Dudley within the graphic, but I think he was gone around this time because you didn't even have either Devon or Bubba Ray in the graphic, despite the fact that they're on SmackDown. So, I thought all three were released at the same time. Who knows? And we're also getting the wedding for Edge and Lita, who haven't been an on-screen couple for that long. I mean, at least they've been on an on-screen couple far longer before leading to marriage compared to Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. So that's something. So the show starts off with John Cena coming to the ring as we're reminded of Chris Jericho's heel turn on Cena the week prior after they had a tag team match together. So Cena, he doesn't have an issue with what happened last week because Raw is pretty much the Wild West. It's the OK Corral, as they call it. But he says with this attack, it's personal. Which it seems like every feud gets that by any means. Like, you do one tiny thing, oh, this is personal. Like, my gosh. It's like, you spill coffee on somebody, it's personal. Sneak attack, personal. Taking a jacket, personal, etc. Cena, he doesn't want to wait till Vengeance to have the triple threat with Jericho and Christian. He wants it that night on Raw. And instead of getting either of his upcoming opponents, he gets Muhammad Hassan. And he's coming out with Daivari, and Hassan claims that Cena's like the rest of America, complaining about nothing. It's like, oh, you guys have it so easy, you're complaining about nothing. You have nothing to complain about, you got everything you want. Then he claims that things are getting worse for him each and every week due to the ongoing prejudice that he's dealing with, and he's not happy about Stone Cold recently screwing him out of the Intercontinental Championship against Shelton Benjamin. And Cena, he's not taking Hassan's promo seriously. He's like, oh, I've been spit on, I've been laughed at, I've been tied to a post where Daivari gives me spankings. So that's when Cena was also trying to add humor with his promos and everything. And since he's not getting either Jericho or Christian tonight, he's wanting Hassan because he's pretty much telling them, it's like, hey, people aren't hating you because you're Arab American. They're hating you because you're asshole American. So that's where that promo came from. So he's wanting Hassan tonight, and Bischoff arrives to remind him that, hey, things aren't run the same on SmackDown and Raw, because here on Raw, there's actually authority. He's not here to kiss anybody's ass to be buddy-buddy. But he decides that John Cena will face Muhammad Hassan tonight on Raw, but the WWE Championship will be on the line, and if Hassan wins, he'll be the champion defending against Jericho and Christian at the pay-per-view. And Daivari, he's using his native language to try to berate everybody. Cena just throws him out of the ring, and this match, we thought it was going to happen right away, but no, it'll be later. So, after the commercial, Eric Bischoff comes back down to the ring and announces that Shelton Benjamin will defend the Intercontinental Championship against the newest member of the Raw roster via the draft lottery, and mentioned that Shelton's title reign was the longest in almost 10 years with the Intercontinental Championship. And I believe, if memory serves me right, the last one was The Rock back in from the end of 97 to summer 98. So it has been a while, but who's his opponent? Carlito! Now, I do remember this was right around the match that was going on when I first found Raw, so this is bringing nostalgia. One of those notable moments happened very early on where Shelton tried to do a running tope dive over the top, but his legs clipped the top rope, and he splats on the floor. Carlito didn't really catch him, so I guess The Miz isn't the only one that should be criticized for not being good at catching people that fly out of the ring. So throughout the match, Shelton, he's managing a comeback after being kept on the mat. He goes up top, and does flying clothesline. Carlito, he tries to avoid the T-bone suplex, but eats a Northern Light suplex after being rammed into the corner. Nice transition. When it comes to the end, Carlito, he avoids a corner charge by Shelton, but Shelton lands on the second rope and bounces back out with a sunset flip. And at the end, Shelton tries to go for a German suplex. Carlito reverses it into a victory roll and grabs the second rope during the pin to become the new Intercontinental Champion. So Carlito's like, hey, that's pretty cool. So now after the break, Carlito's backstage. Maria's interviewing and asking like, "Hey, you're new Intercontinental Champion. How'd you do it? Did you not watch the replay, Maria? That'll answer your question." So Carlito's like, "Hey, go fetch me an apple." Then he's cutting a promo on his own at the camera, no microphone. Despite because Maria walked away with it. She brings back the apple, like, "Here you go." And he ends up taking the apple and giving it right back into Maria's face. He spits. We get it. Now we've got Viscera versus Simon Dean. The latter of the two keeps taking digs at Viscera's physique. Like, "Oh, you're a big guy. I'm going against Huge Hefner." And all that stuff. So Simon, he's trying to use a speed advantage. Doesn't do him any favors. He did take the nice spinning wheel kick that Viscera did and took it pretty well. And then Simon gets violated. So I'm getting SVR 2006 flashbacks here. If you know, you know. So, two-headed sit-out choke bomb. Viscera wins pretty easily. And so I guess the Simon system wasn't taken before this match. I mean, helps Batista later on. So Viscera, he invites Lillian Garcia into the ring, and she wants things to go between them even faster than what they had been so far, hinting that, hey, this Sunday at Vengeance, you're going to hit the jackpot. Ooh, spicy. So afterwards, we see highlights of a recent segment involving the 2005 Raw Diva Search, which is hard to watch, remembering that Ashley was in there. Rest in peace, Ashley, by the way. But later on, we'll find out the final 8 choices for the Diva Search. I'm not going to bring up all of them, but there will be 3 to note when I bring this up later on. And after this, Todd Grisham. He's backstage interviewing Chris Jericho, and he's not squatting down to make Jericho look taller than him. But he's talking about Vengeance, and Jericho stated that he hasn't had any opportunities for one-on-one world title match in almost 3 years. I did some back checking. It's technically not true. Because again, this is June 2005. Chris Jericho's last one-on-one world title shot was on the September 22, 2003 episode of Raw when he went one-on-one against Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship. So it's been not even 2 years yet, so we're a little bit off there, Jericho. He also states that John Cena being WWE Champion is why his record sales are great, so it should do the same results for Fozzy when Jericho becomes champion. When Christian butts in, reminds him that Cena may not be champion going to the pay-per-view, because again, he got the match with Hassan coming up, who's undefeated. He also says that both Cena and Fozzy's albums suck, which I wouldn't know because I haven't listened to either of them. I know, pretty weird. Now we get a video package showing Triple H's history inside Hell in a Cell with his narrations to hype up the match coming up at Vengeance between Batista and Triple H. And I do remember this being the first Hell in a Cell match I had ever seen, and it still holds a place in my heart. Because we gotta remember, Triple H had never been beaten one-on-one inside Hell in a Cell, so he's got the experience and advantage in here. So then Kurt Angle, he's going backstage into Bischoff's office, probably looking for somebody else's wife to smooch on, and he's vowing to make Shawn Michaels tap out of Vengeance, just like he did at WrestleMania, and he wants to dedicate this match to Eric Bischoff. I don't think that's going to go well. So now, after this, the ring is ready for the wedding ceremony. Edge and Lita. You can't expect a smooth ceremony because we know how wrestling weddings are in about 99% of these segments. So Lita and Edge, they watch a video package dedicated to their relationship and includes many unhappy moments from Kane. I mean, you could have just taken the ring that you dropped in the toilet and just pawned it off or something. Get yourself some money. And Snitsky, he comes to the stage because he has a passage to read. He's wearing a tuxedo without sleeves and is dripping wet. Why? And during this whole thing, he states that it's not his fault that Kane can't get hard, and it's not a fault that Lita had a baby in her uterus. I mean, first X-Pac mentions that problem with Kane back in their 99 feud, and technically, Snitsky, it was your fault that it happened because your chair shot caused that event to happen. Come on, accept responsibility. So Edge and Lita, they're exchanging vows. Edge claims that he's both Money in the Bank and Money in the Sack. I mean, what we see the following year, I have to question that, sadly. And Lita, she says if loving Edge makes her a slut, then she's proud to be the slut of the century. I don't recall anybody ever being proudly declaring themselves to be a slut. Like, that's not a badge of honor there. So when the priest asks if anybody objects to the ceremony, speak now or just shut up, suddenly Matt Hardy's music starts playing, great pop by the crowd, but it was just a joke by Edge and Lita. I guess this maybe motivated Shawn Michaels' joke in Montreal a couple months later involving Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan's music. So before the ceremony can be concluded with saying like, oh, you're not husband and wife, Kane pops up to the ring and gets his hands on Edge but can't quite get to Lita fully. And then after Kane destroys the set, he gives the tombstone pile driver to the priest. Forgive me, Father, for you are dead. Now, backstage right after the break, Kane, he doesn't want to get interviewed by Coachman. He's just giving his own promo saying, it's ruined their special night, but he's back. I mean, we're missing a TV with static and all that, but I mean, that counts close enough, huh? Now we got another backstage segment because Todd Grisham is interviewing Christy Hemme over the feud with Victoria. 3 weeks prior, doing a bikini contest, Christy won. Victoria wasn't happy and attacked her and even gave her the widow's peak. Christy talks about Victoria and, oh, she makes me so mad. But then behind her, Victoria comes in, takes a glass container, and smashes it over the back of Christy's head. She needs medical attention now because she's got blood coming from the back of her head and she has no clue where she's at. Then you get to this one. John Cena, Muhammad Hassan, WWE Championship. One of the shining moments, Cena gave an impressive diving shoulder tackle early on, looking like a torpedo launching out of a battleship. He even gives a 5-knuckle shuffle after punching Daivari off the apron. It was a nice touch there. Gives the old FU, and Cena retains the WWE Championship in around 2 minutes. Hassan did not get much offense, and, no. I know, Hassan would continue to thrive in a way as a heel when he goes over to SmackDown after this, but having your undefeated streak end in a match that only lasted a couple of minutes, especially after how long he had been on television, it feels worse than when Cena ended Umaga's undefeated streak with a roll-up a year and a half later. In post-match, Cena's trying to go up the ramp, he gets attacked by Jericho, there's a brawl, and after Jericho attacks Cena from behind, and Christian joins in, so it's a 2-on-1 beatdown on Cena, and Jericho and Christian temporarily have a stare down. They must have been having a match like in a dark match after Raw, because Christian and Jericho were in the ring attire despite not having a match on this show. So, weird. And after the break, Christian, he's leaving with his bag, telling Stacy and Candice Michelle, hey, you two are looking at the next WWE Champion. Be at Vengeance. Be there, okay? Alright. And we also get the recap about who will be the final 8 of the Raw Diva Search, with 3 names sticking out. Ashley Massaro, Layla, and Crystal. One of these would be the winner of the contest. One would spend time in WWE after this on SmackDown, and would get released after the whole Teddy wedding and everything. And the other would be a model on Deal or No Deal. So I think they all did well for themselves, at least within their careers, in a way. Now it's time for Batista versus Kurt Angle. This should be exciting. So ankle lock gets applied early on, but Batista gets out and launches himself into the ring post. So that means his right shoulder arm becomes a target for Angle. He escapes the hole with Sidewalk Slam. There's some brawling around ringside, and then out come Triple H and Ric Flair to interfere and end this match so quickly in a disqualification. Massive letdown. Thankfully, Shawn Michaels comes out, tries to even the odds from a 3-on-1 beatdown, so the heels are clear from the ring, and Bischoff declares that Raw won't end this way. He's going to pull a Teddy Long and make this a tag team match. So after the break, we're getting Batista and Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle and Triple H. So, opponents at Vengeance, tag mix up there, you know what I'm talking about. So after the break, they're having the tag match. Shawn's legs really become a target after Ric Flair gets involved. So it's like elbow drops and leg cranks and everything. Angle even gets the Brock Lock on Shawn Michaels. The one where, he takes a knee and wraps it over the back of his head and lifts him upwards. It makes me wish we'd see this hold perform more often, because that is the good submission hold. Triple H, he's attempting a figure 4 leg lock, and even does the woo for Ric Flair, but he gets himself launched face first into the corner, and then does a Flair flop. Batista gets in, fighting with Triple H, after the hot tag scorches the heel team there. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle brawl out into the crowd, so we're down to Triple H, Batista alone. And Batista, he gives a spine buster to both Triple H and Ric Flair, but then as the referees focus on Flair, pedigree to Batista, and Triple H gets the win for his team. So Triple H has this win as he heads into Vengeance, and Batista, I don't know if he was referring to just singles matches, but when he made that promo back in, 2018 or something like that, but technically, Triple H has beaten Batista before, at least pinned him in a way. But at one-on-one, it still wouldn't happen for a little while. So yeah, this was kind of a fun episode of Raw to go back for, because you gotta remember, this is the build to Vengeance. Seeing Carlito come over and seeing the Intercontinental Championship change hands was pretty nice. I don't remember who the World Tag Team Champions were at the time. Were they Hurricane and Rosie? Because we didn't see them on the show. And Trish, I know she was still out due to injury. Muhammad Hassan's title run, or sorry, undefeated streak ending so fast, I gotta question that. But I mean, this was overall enjoyable, and like I said, this show still kind of holds nostalgia for me in a way, because like I said, this was the Raw where I came across WWE for the first time, and it progressed since then. But let me know in the comment section below, what did you all think about this episode of Raw, whether you've seen it before or even just judging based on this review. What do you all think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's episode, folks, please remember, leave a like, subscribe with the bell, turn on here on YouTube, comment what you thought below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, and good day, everybody.